Target 7 found one Albuquerque DWI officer failed to show up to court nearly 100 times in the past 10 years, and each time it caused the case to be thrown out. But one traffic stop caught everyone's attention, and it's now the subject of an FBI investigation. John Cardinelli explains.
That stop occurred in August, and the suspect allegedly had alcohol coming from his breath, but he was never taken to jail. Tonight in our Target 7 investigation, we find out why. An Albuquerque police officer stopped this black Toyota right off the Gibson and Interstate 25 exit. Court documents say the driver was traveling 83 miles per hour at about 1:30 on a Thursday morning. His taillights out, and he nearly struck a vehicle. This is the officer who pulled him over. He was named DWI Officer of the Year by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. He noticed the driver had bloodshot, watery eyes and had an odor of alcohol coming from his face. Yet, the officer never took the driver to jail.
Normally on a DWI case like this, the officer has probable cause to make the arrest, either the driver blows above a .08, which is the legal limit in New Mexico, or they refuse to blow. Either way, the officer is going to take them in, book them into the jail, file a criminal complaint alleging a DWI charge.
Instead, according to this letter, the officer told the man that if he hired a specific attorney, it would ensure no court case would be filed in court by APD.
Well, this is pretty fascinating because it gives us some insight into some of the early whistleblowing about this scandal, and it gives us some sense of maybe how this worked, what the mechanics of it were.
The man who was pulled over was an employee of the 2nd Judicial District Court. His boss, Court Executive Officer Katina Watson, wrote a letter to APD's Police Oversight Agency and the state's Supreme Court.
And the court CEO, the court officer, is saying this is fishy because the employee says the officer who pulled him over told him, get in contact with this lawyer and we guarantee basically the case will go away.
10 days after the letter, the driver was charged with driving while intoxicated and refusing to give a breath sample. The charges were filed 3 months after he was pulled over.
That just almost never happened. So there's something very, very fishy about that. It looks like an officer trying to cover himself after being found out.
Target 7 paid the court employee a visit. We found his car from that traffic stop in the driveway. He wasn't home. But family members who did not want to go on camera told us that he was trying to do the right thing. The officer who pulled him over is one of at least 7 who have been connected to an FBI investigation. Federal agents searched at least 3 homes last month of Albuquerque police officers, and this one belonging to a prominent DWI attorney. Our crews were on scene at one of them, and we paid a visit to 2 other officers at their homes. Since then, District Attorney Sam Bregman has thrown out nearly 200 DWI cases tied to the officers being investigated. One of those cases was the court employees.
Made me sick to my stomach, but I had no choice. My ethics as a prosecutor required me to dismiss those cases.
Target 7 has learned the investigation is centered on allegations that an attorney was paying officers to not show up in court. So we searched through all of the arrests made by the officer who let the court employee go back in August. Since 2013, he has made 939 arrests. 99 times he did not show up to court, causing the case to be tossed. That's about 10 times a year.
I hate to say it, but I think repeat offenders know how to play the system about as well as those that might have assisted them.
The FBI investigation has caused concern among DWI advocates who thought there was a process in place to stop this from happening. Linda Atkinson of the DWI Resource Center is one of them.
So when you see, people that are breaking the law and now basically no consequences, no accountability, we know that continue that behavior. Makes it very dangerous out there.
So far, Metro Court, APD, and the District Attorney's Office have blamed each other for not overseeing officers not coming to court.
And this DWI scandal that has rocked the department, I think, really raises questions about what is in fact going on culturally within that department.
The FBI investigation has caused advocates to question whether the Department of Justice should be ending its oversight of APD. ACLU of New Mexico Director Peter Simonson is one of them.
It does raise my level of concern that even while the department seems to be performing to the monitor's satisfaction around these use of force questions, is it generally holding itself accountable in all other areas? And I think this DWI scandal probably calls that into serious question.
No one has yet been charged in the federal investigation, and the search warrants are still sealed. For Target 7, I'm John Cardinelli.